Hello everyone. In this lecture we're going to learn about place values and three types of notation. We're going to learn about standard, word, and expanded notation. To start us off, we're going to talk about place values. And our definition is the value of the position of a digit in a number. So let's say, for example, we have 7,863. Now I knew how to read it based off of what each place value for each digit means. So 7 is in the thousands place, and if I wanted to, I could use this little chart down here where I have 7, 8, 6, 3. And now I can see where each digit lands in the place values. So 7, as I said, was in the thousands. It's technically the 1000s, but we usually say it's 7000s because it's not just one of them. Then we have 800s, 610s, and 3 ones. So if we were to talk about 8 specifically, we'd say it stands for 800, just like how the 6 stands for 60, or you could say 610s. So the place values is something we want to get familiar with. I wouldn't require you to go too much past the billions, but it is nice to know up to the billions. Millions is like your goal for tonight, to feel comfortable with those place values. So let's talk about standard notation. Standard notation is when numbers are presented in numerical digits, and that is what we currently have in this big long number. So numbers are given to us, and we want to write it in word notation. So I want it all in handwriting, no numerical numbers, no math symbols, nothing of that nature. So when I write this number, knowing the place values is going to help me out. So we have ones, we have the tens, hundreds, then we land ourselves in the thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and my pen's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to move down a little bit. Then we're in millions, 10 millions, 100 millions, and then the place value after that is billions. So when I put in word notation, I start from the left to the right, the way we read, and I have 1, that's the digit there, billion, and now I'm going to take a breath, that way I can read it all in one go. I'm going to have to put a comma to tell you I'm going to the next values, and now after the billion, we are now going to land ourselves in the millions. Let's just look at the numbers in the millions place. I'm going to read it as 234. So that's what I'm going to write. 230, and excuse my THs, I can't say them quite right. 34. And since it's in the millions place, I do need to write million. And then I have a comma because now I'm going to breathe. So let's see what I got so far. I got 1,234,000,000. And now I'm taking another breath and I'm into the next section of 3 digits. So we kind of break them off in groups of 3. It's even like in English, all good things come in groups of 3. So we now read this number. We have 567. So we'll just write it out. 567. And try to spell words correctly. I mean, I might have spelled 30 incorrectly. I'm not going to be too picky. I can usually see what you're going for. I'm not in English class. So, but do try your best, okay? So don't panic too much like, oh man, I'm going to have to learn how to spell these words. So we have 567, and I was in the thousands place. So I say thousands. And then I'm going to breathe, so I need the comma. And now I'm last but not least in the ones. We don't actually have to say we have 890 ones. We just say 890, and when we end there, that is assumed to the reader that's the ones, so to speak, place. So we have 800, and 90. There's no ones place, so that's it. We end. Okay? I think I spelled 90 incorrectly, but I'm going to say it's close enough. So that's my answer. Is there a question? Oh, I was thinking I'm in the classroom, so I'm asking if there's questions. If you have a question, you can always come and see me, email me, do whatever you need to get in contact, okay? All right, so that's word notation. Let's say I give you word notation, and I want you to go back into standard notation. So we're going to go the other way. Now I have 9,876,543. And I want to go backwards into just math symbols. So we can start from where we read. We have 9 million, left to right. So I have a 9 in the millions place. That means I should have 3 digits, comma, 3 more digits. So I can preemptively kind of set up how my problem is going to go by knowing I have 9 million. And if you're a little lost on that, just sneak back and cheat with your chart until you get comfortable with it. So millions, and then I had 6 more digits behind it. So now I'm going to read to the next guy. I have 800, so 8 is in the hundreds place. 76 thousands. So there's on my thousands. And last but not least, we have 543. So 500, 5's in the hundreds place, 4 is in the tens, and 3 will be in the ones. And there's our happy number. Now, some of you, maybe not all of you, might be wondering, wow, I keep seeing these hyphens appear, and you already know I'm pretty awful at spelling, so I don't care about that, but will I care about the hyphens? And I am a little bit picky about the hyphens. So when do we use hyphens? Pretty much whenever we reach after the tens, in the teens area. When we're after that, we have the 20. So we'd say 21. And there's a hyphen. So let me write it in this space here. So we'd have 20, 1, 22, 23, keeps on going all the way up to 29. And then you continue on 31, 32, all the way into the 90s. So that's when we have the hyphens, if that clarifies it. Last but not least, we're going to talk about expanded notation, where we're writing the value of the number using the face value and the place value of each digit. What we mean by that, and there's a couple different ways we can write expanded notation. I prefer the lazy man way. So I have 4, he's in the thousands place, so I'll write 4,000. And then I'm expanding this, so I get to use more math symbols. I'm going to say in addition to, and 8 is in the hundreds place, and 5 is in the tens place, and 6 is in the ones. So this is the way I would write expanded notation. There's a couple different ways out there. You might see it written as 4,000, and I'm sorry, that should be plural, 4,000s, plus 8 hundreds, plus 5 tens, plus 6 ones. And that's another way you might see it. Pretty much what you're going to have here, and just what it's written here, you're talking about the digits. So we have 4, and his place value is in the thousands. So either you note it with a bunch of zeros or you write it in words. Same deal for 8. 8 is in the hundred place. You either have it with the zeros or you write it in words, and you continue on in that fashion. Just be very careful. Don't write 4 and then let me show you what I don't want to see. 4,000 and then you write thousands again. That's very confusing. You can't put the two together because what you're telling me is you have 4,000 thousands. So that's a lot more thousands than just 4,000. You're having 4,000 of them. So that's a little bit more confusing. So be very careful. Don't mix the two. You either write one or the other. And since I'm not good in spelling, as you're slowly starting to learn, I try to avoid writing words. So I prefer the first way to do it. But some people see the more logical in writing the words because that's how their brains think. You do whichever one you prefer. And that's it for Lecture 1.